sense.
Gotta test the endpoints.
Okay.
Do you want to go through that, or are you feeling okay with testing the endpoints?
I'm okay. I got that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, especially looking at the original, notice it converged at -1. So that maybe makes me think this one also might converge at -1, might not, but good to remember to test those using the ratio of the root tests. Okay. So then wanted to look at the alternating series test. So the reason it's called alternating is because the signs alternate. So something like if your series was 1 minus 1/2 plus 1/4 minus 1/8, and so on and so forth. If your signs alternate, that will be an alternating series test. And if it's in the sigma notation, the easy way to identify an alternating series test is if you see this -1 to the n or -1 to the n plus 1 or n plus 3 or anything like that. That's a good indicator to use this alternating series test. And the ratio test will work instead of doing the alternating series test, but the alternating series test is a lot quicker if you're able to remember it and be able to use it. So what you want to do once you recognize that it is an alternating series is figure out what your b sub n is. So notice they write this alternating series as -1 to the n, so the alternating part, times this b sub n.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to figure out what are your positive terms, because the two things you need to test for the alternating series test is right here. Does those positive terms, that b sub n, does it approach 0? So that's kind of what you were talking about earlier with the divergence test. So same idea is there. And then the other thing we want to know is your positive terms, that b sub n, is it decreasing? So is your next term smaller than the previous one? If it meets those two criteria, then your series is convergent. If it fails to meet either of them, then the series will diverge. So first thing I want to do is obviously figure out which test to use. So I'm seeing this -1 to the n plus 1. So that's my first indicator that I'm thinking, ooh, that's alternating. So once I know it's alternating, I need to identify what is my positive terms. What is b sub n? Can you help me with that?
1 over n.
Exactly. We're just kind of, in a sense, ignoring that -1 to the n plus 1. My positive term's 1 over n. So the two things I need to test. The first thing is, what is my limit as n approaches infinity of b sub n, this 1 over n?
0.
0. And looking up here, that's what we need it to do. Halfway there. Second thing, I need to see, is it decreasing? Is b sub n decreasing? So there's a couple different ways to figure out if b sub n is decreasing. The easiest one is to look at your nth term and then look at your next term. Your next term would be n plus 1. So if you compare 1 over n to 1 over n plus 1, what inequality sign can I put there in the middle?
Greater than.
Yeah, so if this is a bigger denominator, it'll be a smaller number.
Right.
So does that show that b sub n is decreasing?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So if we know that 1 over n is here, 1 over n plus 1, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's definitely smaller. That shows it is, b sub n is in fact decreasing. So since it meets those two criteria, then my series will converge by alternating series. Questions on that?
Are we going to do conditional with absolute?
Yes, I actually think that's what I have next.